Hello and welcome back to the Psych Legal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm Tess Brigham. I'm the therapist.
And I'm Brooke Brigham. I'm the attorney.
And we are back today with PolyFamily Season 1, Episode 4, O.my.quad. Dun, dun, dun.
Another dot.
Another dot. So we're on the road right now.
Yes.
We're in a hotel room. We're in Los Angeles. We just spent the day. Producer Steve drove us down to LA and got us here in one piece.
It's quite a journey.
It's been a journey. We stopped at Chick-fil-A.
Had the chicken biscuit sandwich.
And you know what? The second time, not as good as the first time. I'm telling you. So I might need to just let go of the chicken biscuit. Might not be part of my repertoire. So, and then we had to go down the 5 and what was it? It was a car broke down.
A trailer blew a couple tires and was blocking the road.
So we got stuck basically on this 2-lane highway for 45 minutes. And that was a treat. And then we pleasantly arrived in LA at 5:00.
Yes.
The traffic we were trying to avoid.
Yes. And, but we're at our hotel. We just had a nice dinner. Couple of cocktails.
Yeah. So we're fired up.
We're ready to go. Tess watched this episode in the car on her iPhone, and she kept turning around looking at me going with this, her eyes wide open, like, oh my gosh, what is happening?
I know. Steve wasn't having it. He did not like all the noise. So, okay. So let's get into this episode. So before we get into it, let's talk a little bit about what we've learned more about this family, as well as I have been following their TikTok, which is called PolyFamily. Mm-hmm. And I'll go on there once in a while and I'll look at some of their posts, and they are utterly exhausting. Taya comes on and talks about how special it was. It was Mother's Day, and her sons, because they have these 2 toddlers, the school gave her 2 bags for Mother's Day. And she took that and really ran with it, like as if this is really significant, as if her situation is unique, as if, oh, what a wonderful school. And it is. It's obviously they're being mindful, but a lot of people have 2 moms.
Yeah, that's kind of the norm these days, that schools, for Mother's Day, if you have 2 moms, you do 2 gifts. If you have 2 dads and Father's Day, that's not special.
Yeah. And Taya really feels like she's special and unique. And the way she acts on, I don't know if you've been watching their TikTok, but the way she acts, it's a little bit like she feels like she's telling us something or so groundbreaking it's like, okay, great. Good for you.
Yeah, no, she does. She thinks she's groundbreaking. I don't know what else to say. These people, we'll get into it.
Yeah, they have not thought through one decision.
No.
For people who claim to be so thoughtful about what they do, these people did not bother to think through one aspect of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Not one.
I mean, it's like after the fact, after you've already formed this family, you've had these children, you think, oh, wait a minute. What can we do to protect ourselves? Or what are our legal rights?
Yeah.
And now you're going to go talk to an attorney, and then you realize, oh, crap.
Well, and also 4 adults, all in their 40s, maybe even in their 40s.
Well, no.
Taya's not.
Taya's like late 20s.
Okay. But these are real
30s.
Adults. And they're all staring
Sean's
at each other.
the only one in his 40s, right?
But they're all staring at each other like, well, what should we do? How do we figure out what to do? It's like,
well, it's kind of too late for that now.
Just the fact that they didn't go right to an attorney, it just is perplexing to me. But the episode starts off, I guess it's the holidays, so they're at a Christmas event. And we hear a little bit more of things between Sean and Tyler are better. And he mentions that they don't have much in common, but they're going to work on rebuilding the trust.
Yeah, it sounded very negative. Didn't sound promising.
Well, and also there's a real problem there. I mean, if in fact you are this closed quad, shouldn't everybody get along, whether you're having sex with them or not?
Right. I mean, when did this problem between the 2 of them start?
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling it's been from the beginning. I have a feeling they've never had a close relationship, and they just jumped into this and they thought, oh, we'll grow and develop and into this. We'll have a better relationship. And it's just never happened.
Well, and I think we've gotten a lot of comments on Instagram, and a lot of people feel the same way, which is it really feels like it's driven by sex. I'm sorry. It really feels like it's driven by...
And this episode
is driven by sex, wanting to have, and being in this, I think, especially for Tyler and Alysia, being in this long-term marriage and all of it. It's so much of it because the sex seems to be the thing that Tyler can get together with.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Like he cannot figure anything else out, but this he can figure out.
Yeah. But what do you think was Sean's motivation for getting into this? It feels to me like Taya and Tyler met through some swinging community, like action, whatever. They really hit it off, and then they had to sort of convince their spouses to go along with it, and that was really the only way that they could continue to be together type of thing. And that is like the centerpiece is those two, because in this episode, Alysia kind of says that, she and Sean really aren't.
Yeah.
Really
not connecting.
Connecting.
Connecting and intimacy means sex, basically.
Right.
They just don't say it.
Yeah. And they don't, when you see them together, they don't seem like they're madly in love at all.
I mean, really, could you fake it for Sean? I mean, can you imagine laying next to Sean?
No.
Steve, hell no.
Yes. Whether you're,
no matter who you are,
gender, sexual orientation. No, he's just a wet blanket.
Well, the other thing too is I remembered another, I don't know if this was on Instagram or if it was on TikTok, it doesn't matter, but I saw another video of Sean coming in and Taya's filming it, and Sean comes in and he's like helping with the kids. And Taya's like, isn't it great to see a man not worried about gender roles? Like, here he is, a man taking care of children. And I just wanted to say dude, he can't get a job.
Yeah, because he has too many complaints against him for can't be around minors.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. He is not doing this out of desire. He may want to.
It's survival.
But the other part of it too is, he cannot work.
No, he needs a place to live.
Yeah. So I think that's Sean's motivation. Sean wants a place to live.
Yeah.
He wants to be able to have sex with Taya.
Yeah.
And, he can't work.
Right.
So he needs to be the stay-at-home dad. So he needs some people that can actually have real jobs.
Yeah. And so part of that is he has to put up with this other shenanigans.
Yeah.
And this, it is what it is.
Yeah. But the guy can't work at all, right? I mean, he definitely can't work around children.
No.
Correct?
And in fact, there's so much swirling around out there about this. But I saw a TikTok with, a content creator who, allegedly she was showing a letter from the Department of Children's Services in Oregon, basically saying that due to their investigation and complaints or whatever, that he can't work around children. He's not safe to be around children. There have been allegations against him, some proven, maybe some not proven. I don't know. This is all alleged, but there's just too much for there not to be some there.
And I think the core feeling is from everyone, which is, you know what, Tyler, and I really feel like it's more Tyler. You know what, Tyler and Alysia, you're putting sex over your children.
Yes.
You're putting your own wants and needs and your desires
Taylor and Taya and Tyler.
And Alysia. Yeah. I mean, Alicia's Alysia could
Right.
say, listen, bye, Tyler, we're divorcing and I'm taking the kids away from these people. But, I mean, they are sacrificing the safety of their children from, I really am scared for Raina. They are sacrificing that for their own wants and needs.
Right.
And that is, I think, when I think about parenting, like what's the core piece of parenting? And you don't want to sacrifice so much that you don't have a life. Like you're resentful towards your children. But there is a certain amount of, okay, I'm going to put your wants and needs above mine because someone else at one point did that for me.
Right.
And I'm an adult and I can do that for you. But these people, they just don't, they can't seem to do that.
Right. And we see with the legal stuff
Yes.
that they were so excited to just be with this other person that they didn't even think legally how this would affect them or their children
when they started having
in
kids,
the future. When they started having children together, they didn't even research
No.
what their rights would be. And this whole thing about the paternity, and we don't care, we don't want to know, which is not totally untrue.
Yeah.
But it's like, maybe your kids might want to know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are these kids in 20 years going to be like?
I don't know.
Are they ever going to know? I mean,
It's going to be one hell of a podcast. Whatever we're doing in 20 years from now, if it's podcasting or what, I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. But yeah, these people in particular in this episode really enraged me because of that, because there's no thought about how this affects your children.
Yeah. Well, then, so there's the Christmas event and they take pictures and blah, blah, blah. And then we get back into this whole paternity thing. When we entered all this, we didn't want to know the paternity. And now, wait a minute, maybe we need to know the paternity. And basically, we see these scenes of the whole family together with all 5 kids and all 4 adults. And I mean, it seems nice. It seems enjoyable. They're all having fun. I don't know if they're playing it up for the cameras
yeah.
or if this is what a normal evening looks like. But, I remember Taya says that she, her favorite time of day is when everyone comes home. And I do remember when Steve came home and it was nice to have another adult there
to talk to.
And I can imagine with all those kids, it's nice to have multiple adults than just one.
Yeah.
I do get all of that. But these people are all looking at each other going, well, how should we go about doing this? What should we do? And Alicia's like, well, do you think we should call an adoption agency? It's like, what are you talking about?
They have this idea in their head about a third-party adoption, which I don't know.
What does that mean? Do you know what is third-party adoption?
Well,
mean?
that would mean, they explain it later when they go to the attorney's office.
Okay, that's the next scene.
Yeah.
So the next scene after this is they finally find an attorney who I think operates out of her home to be able to meet with them, and they go and meet with her.
And she was. I liked her. She was very blunt.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't mince words, and she was absolutely right. And it was so strange because, the visuals of it was so strange to me because Tyler and Sean are sitting in normal chairs.
Mm-hmm.
And then in between the two of them, Taya and Alysia are sitting in higher chairs, almost like bar stools or something. And so they're up higher than the other two, I guess because they didn't have enough chairs the same size.
And again, these people are coming and know there's 4 of them. Why wouldn't you run out and get 4 chairs?
4 chairs.
Come on, TLC or the producers, this lawyer, somebody get 2 extra chairs.
Yeah, it was really odd. But basically, the lawyer's like, I've never had dealt with anything with a polyamorous family like this. And she basically tells them, because they bring up third-party adoption, and she's like, well, what that means is that someone would have to terminate their parental rights, and then someone else would adopt the child. So for instance, it's the same what they did on Sister Wives.
Mm-hmm.
Because Robin's ex-husband,
he released
his parental rights, and then Cody adopted them. So that's a third-party adoption.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not going to work in this situation because they all, obviously, Tyler's not going to terminate his parental rights, his children, so Sean can be the legal parent. And this attorney is trying to explain to them that, under the law, you can only have legally 2 parents.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a man and a woman. It could be 2 women. It could be 2 men. But you only get 2 parents.
Yeah. And that's enough.
And that's enough. And there's a reason for that. And there's a reason for these laws is because it's to create certainty and stability for children. Can you imagine if you could just, be a parent legally to as many children as you wanted to and have multiple? Because these guys are talking about, we want to have all 4 of us on their birth certificate. And the woman's like, no, that's not going to happen. And she basically tells them, this is not the law. No judge in Oregon is going to side with you. If you want to try it and then appeal it and try to make new law, you could do that. Or there would have to be a change in legislation where they would allow, the legislature in the state would allow this. And she's basically like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But they still continue to talk about how, we just got to keep fighting and keep trying. It's like, Alysia keeps saying this, and it's like, girl, there is not a state representative in the entire state who is going to take this on as their
Yeah.
their like pet project.
They're a bigger fish to fry, honey.
Like, I'm going to make it so that, these polyamorous families can have multiple people on the birth certificates and multiple like legal rights. It's just never going to happen.
Well, what drives me crazy is then we start to see Taya crying, and Taya's like crying and like that she's been victimized by the system. The system is holding me down and oppressing me. It's like, honey, I'm sorry, but like, there are real people right now that are being oppressed by our system, especially right now. Like, it's just like, shut up.
Right.
We don't need to hear from you. You are not a victim. You are not being oppressed. These are the laws. There's a reason for the law. And just because you want to operate this way doesn't mean that the law should move with you.
Right.
Doesn't mean that. And really, to me, I feel like at the core, what bothers me is like, it's really on the four of you. The four of you have to make an agreement and decide. And the four of you have to believe in each of each other. That if the chips fall down, if the shit hits the fan, that person's going to show up for you, and that person's not going to fight you, and that person's not going to do that to you.
Well, and that's the problem.
That's the problem.
They don't trust each other. And especially Sean does not trust Tyler. He says, if something goes down, I could lose contact with at least 3 of these kids or more if they're not biologically mine. He does not trust Tyler. He says, I would like to think that if something happened, Tyler would do the right thing. But do I think? No.
Yeah.
Nobody trusts anybody.
So again, then you go back to, why did you, this could have just been sex. This could have been like, Tyler could have gone out once a week and had sex with Taya, and that would be it. That would be it. And Alysia, you could find someone else, or you could say to Tyler, I'm not cool with this. Goodbye. I mean, there's so many options. And this is what really bugs me, is they all are looking at each other, wanting the other person to sort of fix it or solve it. Or you trust me. It's like, no, the four of you together have to trust each other. And that's how you'll be able to make it through. If you trust the four of you, but you don't. So,
well, and here's the feeling that I get after this episode is that Tyler and Taya met each other through some sort of swinging, because they did talk about swinging, like in the very first episode, and they fell for each other hard, and they went back to their partners and they said, I really want to be with this person, and how can we make this work, right? And I feel like both Sean and Alysia did not want to lose their partners, and so they agreed to this because we know Sean is not happy.
Yeah.
We know that.
Oh, and we know Alicia's
and now
not
we
happy.
know Alicia's this episode, she comes out of the woodwork, and she tells us that she had a lot of jealousy, and she still does, clearly, and she has to deal with, and she's starting to get angry, and now she's getting angry about this whole legal situation, and now that she knows that legally there's nothing that they can do about it, and she's now worried, well, what if something happens to me, like my kids can be taken. So now she wants to reconnect with her father, who it sounds like is not a great person, simply because I think she's trying to convince him, look, if something happens to me, don't fight to get these children, let them stay with
these
that's
other,
interesting. These
I hadn't
other
thought
people,
about that. Yeah.
So, the cracks are deepening. They are deepening here.
Well, so we go from this meeting with the lawyer back to talking about, hey, they've been in baby mode. Taya is cleared for intimacy, as we learn. So they want to have dates. So, of course, Sean wants to be with Taya, Alysia wants to be with Tyler, and Tyler and Taya want to be together. And somehow, I swear to God, they drew names. I think that Tyler only had
rigged.
Taya.
Yes.
I think only he had Taya on. Or it might have said Alysia on that piece of paper, and he went, Taya!
Yeah.
Because Tyler wanted to make sure this was going to happen.
Yeah.
This was Tyler's number one priority. And he is taking Taya to the coast of Oregon, which I've been to, which is really beautiful, very cold. But, and how they've had to put romance in the back seat. And so we see the two of them driving, and this whole scene was really odd and really uncomfortable to witness.
Yeah.
Much like most of the show, but
but this was more particularly.
So Tyler really goes into this with he's ripping off rose petals. He's putting on the bed.
Sex.
He wants to get freaky deaky. He's getting body paint. He's got a blindfold. He is like, Taya, you and I, we're going to freak off.
Edible body paint.
Edible body paint.
And all I kept thinking was this poor owner of this Airbnb, because, it's like this white bedspread. White, everything's white and nice. And it's like, don't fuck up these people's Airbnb with your body paint.
So what do you think was going on with Taya? Do you really think that was all real? Because it felt, I mean, I'm such a sucker because I always believe people, but it felt real to me that she was very uncomfortable. And I understand that. I was there too, where you're uncomfortable with your body. Yeah. You're all like, well, you're still breastfeeding. So you're still kind of like, ugh. And so she really, I think for her, I think it was the cameras and all of that really bugged her. Like that, because she went into the bathroom and essentially hid, and we could hear them on the microphone where Tyler's saying, well, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Let's just hang out.
Tyler, okay, there were a lot of things going on here. Right. First, Tyler came on too strong. Mm-hmm. And I get it. He's trying to do it because the cameras are there. He's putting out the rose petals. And, she said, even before they left, she's not feeling herself. She's less than 2 months ago had a baby.
And had a surgery.
Had C-section. She's pumping. She's nursing, all this kind of stuff. Totally understandable. And then the minute they get there, he starts putting rose petals on the bed. Like, give her a minute. Can she have a drink? Can she,
ease into it
eat
a little
something?
bit? Yeah.
I don't know. Ease into it. But the cameras are there, so I think there was too much pressure to do something. And then she kind of started crying, and she was upset. It was just too much. But and he did back off, and he said, "I'm sorry. I'm not trying to. I want you to be comfortable." And then they showed them on the couch, playing a silly game and loosening up. And I think ultimately they probably did have sex.
They admitted that.
Yeah.
They did admit that something did happen.
But the super interesting thing was it Tyler who said this? He said that usually the way that he and Taya connect is sexually.
Yes.
And that without that, if that's not an option, how are we going to connect?
And I kept thinking, like, well, why can't the two of you just talk? Yeah. Like, you haven't probably been talking all that much. You don't have anything in common.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have things that put you in common. You don't want to play like a card game. You don't want to do anything together. And I think it's very telling. Like, no, they want to fuck. Like, that's all these two really want to do with each other. Which, again, fine. I'm not judging that. I'm just saying, why do you involve children?
Right.
You don't need to involve some children in this. You
can just have your thing on the side. I mean, I think there's a lot of couples who do that, and they don't involve their children.
Yeah.
Like if they say, I want to do stuff out, with other people, but we still want to be married. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why do you have to bring kids into it and have kids together and do all this?
Guess what? No one ever needed to know about it. It could have been your own private thing that no one ever knew. No. And that's on you. Great. Good for you. Live your life.
Yeah.
Well, so what we see at the same time is, so Alysia and Sean are back at home with all 5 kids, and it's a lot, which I can imagine. Mm-hmm. So they're all stressed out, and they're literally counting down the minutes.
They're tracking them.
Yes.
They're like, oh, they're back in town. They're 10 minutes away. I mean, they are tracking them.
Psych Legal Pop. We'll be back after these messages. So Alysia had a baby for the first time in a couple years. And she was like, oh, yeah, I had forgotten what it was like to get up every 2 hours and feed a baby and all that. And it was a lot. And so then, again, Tyler and Taya come in. And, of course, it's a little awkward because no one wants to talk about, like, you went on this romantic trip. But then all of a sudden, Tyler, you just want to smack him upside the head. Tyler starts talking about this edible body paint. Mm-hmm. And that set Alysia off, which I agree. It would have set me off too. It's like, he's like, well, I was just trying to share about the edible body paint and all this. But you know what that means. Rose petals, blindfolds, edible body paint. Like, come on. Yeah. Like, you know what that's leading to. So why say any of it? And now I'm thinking that maybe he did know he was giving the blood type, and maybe he was intentional about that, because Tyler seems to do this a lot where he overshares and shares a lot of information that he doesn't think through, or maybe he does. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. He's either totally tone deaf or he does this intentionally, do these little digs. And that's the thing. Tyler can get away with it because Tyler has this permanent smile on his face.
Oh, yeah.
And he always looks like Mr. Nice Guy. and he's just so nice. And then when someone calls him out on something, he's like, oh, golly gee, I'm sorry. I mean, he's got this act down.
Yeah. No, this is good. And again, I think this is one of the things about Tyler that drives Alysia crazy is that he acts like a permanent kid and always like, oh, geez, I'm sorry. I didn't do that. And I can see how Alysia might have thought, okay, here's Sean. He's stable. He's solid. He's this, this will be good. And I think she's been trying to convince herself that she likes him.
But he's not really stable because he can't find a job because he's a predator, allegedly. According to, everyone on TikTok.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, too, is she talks about how she's a very jealous person. And she talks about how there's this undeniable physical attraction. Everything that we've been seeing the whole time, this undeniable physical attraction between Tyler and Taya, and that it's hard to watch. And it is hard to watch.
Yeah.
I can imagine that for her. And so, again, she just, Alysia, life can be better than this for you. I mean, really? Is Tyler worth it?
Well,
all of
she's been with him since she was 18, right?
Yeah.
And they've grown up together. They have 2 children together who are, 8, 9. They've been parenting for a long time. These 2. I don't know. I just feel like Tyler came to her and gave her almost an ultimatum.
Maybe. I don't think Tyler's an ultimatum kind of person. I think Tyler's like a backdoor around the corner.
Ultimatum, yeah.
Well, it's interesting because I was looking on, not to skew a little bit too far, but what's happening right now in the world is Cassie has been giving her testimony in the Sean Combs trial.
Right.
And one of the big arguments has always been she was with him for 10 years. Why didn't she leave? Why didn't she leave? And I think that Alicia's also showing us, like, when you love someone, when you get connected to someone, and nobody ever comes to you and does the worst day one. It's a slow burn.
It's a process.
So I really do feel like what's happened is that Tyler has always maybe Alysia loved him more than he loved her. And that maybe both of them together decided to do the swinging, and this is how they got here.
I kind of feel like it was his idea and she went along.
She went along with it. And I think it's very easy for us on the outside to look at her and go, what's your problem? Why are you following this? But I do think that this is something to stop and think about. Like, just like with Cassie, was this feeling of, this is my life. If I leave this, what do I have? I have nothing. And these people that are convinced around me are convincing me this is good. This is what you want.
Right.
And if you leave, you will have nothing. So you can, if you're in it, this is your life. It's hard to know.
It's hard. You're exactly right. Because what Cassie testified to was that she was madly in love with him and she would do anything to please him. And of course, it didn't start out in the most horrific way. It's a progression. He said, oh, let's try this. We could do this threesome thing. And she wanted to make him happy. She also said that those times when they did that was the only time she really had alone time with him.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Which is really sad, because he's this big celebrity. He's got so many people. So this was their alone time.
Yeah.
And it just, it didn't start out horrific, probably. It started out, much differently. But yeah. And I think that's what happened to Alysia. I think it started out where he was like, I want to try this. I want to do this. She wants to keep him happy. She loves him. And then it just progresses from there. And now here we are. And she was not in a good way in this episode.
No. We really started to see the cracks. Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Let's see. I missed the scene, I guess, where Taya and everybody goes to meet with Taya's family. We meet Taya's father, who's very, very
accepting.
Nice and very accepting. And I guess there's a lot of, I don't know if it's resentment, but there seems to be a lot of anger towards Taya in terms of the fact that here's Taya. She's the one that everybody wants. She's the one that has the family nearby that is really supportive and cares about her. And so it always just makes Alysia feel overwhelmed and hurt because she and her father aren't close. I'm trying to see what else. This is all about Taya. So this was also interesting too, where when Tyler and Taya come back to talk about their weekend, Sean is really like, well, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
That doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me. I'm like, okay, this doesn't bother you? But everything else seems to bother you.
Right.
Everything bothers you. But this, that felt weird. And I also kind of felt like, Alysia is your girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you, I don't know, not necessarily even side with her, but at least validate her feelings? But he negates them immediately. Like, well, no, that's not what that's not like what it's like for me. So, okay.
Sean doesn't have any real feelings towards Alysia.
I don't think so.
And vice versa. They are both victims of Taya. Taya and Tyler. Because he doesn't. And you would also think, too, that if Sean and Alysia were truly, loved each other and were boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, they would use that. They would use that opportunity of like taking care of all the kids to like be fun and lights and look, we're taking care of these kids together. Instead, it was just sort of like, ugh, we have to take care of all these kids while Sean and Taya Tyler and Taya go off and do whatever, and we all know what they're doing. And this is so imbalanced. This closed quad is so imbalanced. It's not even funny.
Oh, I forgot one scene, which is where we see Taya calling her friend.
Oh, yes.
Who's
Lex.
12 hours away, Lex, who she's super hot for, but I guess nothing's ever happened. But Lex also just had a baby.
Also is polyamorous and pansexual. Right.
So they feel very connected to each other. And I don't know. I don't know why they're showing us this if Lex is coming into the picture. But yeah, I can imagine for Taya, this is kind of boring. Like, this is family life. So she's got to add something to the mix.
I think they're setting something up here because, they had her say, I love my family, but what's missing is a connection with a woman. Then we see her talking to this woman, and while she's talking about Lex, the producer says, well, if you guys ever hooked up? And she's like, oh, no, I wish.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is going somewhere. Why would they put all this in? I think she's going to propose next episode or the episode after at the latest.
Maybe it'll be the cliffhanger of the series. Maybe. 1.
Yeah. She's going to propose something.
Yeah.
Opening up the quad.
Well, and one of the things that Sean was saying at the end is he was saying, these kids are my life. I will not stop fighting for my family. And you're like, but you just dumped 5 people.
You just left a family.
You just left a family. So what? We are going to... And that's the part that's really hard is it feels really ingenuous because disingenuous. Sorry. Yeah. Because that he's already left a family. So why these people and not the last family that you had?
Yeah.
So you could just ditch all those people and these people? And that part just really, it just bugs me. It's a little bit like, okay, Sean.
Because allegedly, according to, what we've seen on social media, he was in a relationship where he had 2 stepchildren and 3 biological children. And then there was some court documents that showed that he... there was an order for child support that I don't think he's paid. There was some protective orders, some restraining orders. And I think that's why he doesn't work. Because he doesn't want his wages garnished.
Yes, I think that is, you're absolutely right. That's another reason why he's home with the kids.
Right.
Because he doesn't want his wages would be garnished.
Right. Yeah. And it seems like we haven't heard anything about him working. So far,
no, he doesn't work.
We have only heard of Alysia has like some kind of government job.
Yeah. Which I bet you all their health insurance is
exactly.
through.
Although I don't know legally how she could really get all of them on. They're probably not all on there.
Yeah.
And then Tyler's he's an electrician or in construction or something like that. And Taya does this TikTok all day long. But I bet you anything that it's not in her name, like whatever, I'm sure, because you get ad money from TikTok. You'd have to give some kind of... tax ID or something to get.
So who do you think it would be under?
I think it's under like Tyler or Alysia.
Why would it be under her?
Well, because she's married to Sean.
Oh, and if she makes money.
I think her wages, I don't know what the Oregon law is, but I feel like her wages being married to Sean could be subject to being
interesting.
garnished,
I didn't even think about that.
Maybe, or some kind of lien of some sort. So, or maybe not. I don't know. But I don't think Sean works outside the home.
No, he can't. He cannot work. He cannot be around.
Can't be around children.
A lot of people, that's all of his experience is related to children. So he can't be around children. And once he starts working, all of the money is going to be gone. So of course he's not going to work.
Yeah. Someone said allegedly he met Taya when he was working as a security guard at like a high school basketball game or something. And she was maybe probably wasn't even 18 when they officially met. I mean, this is just so.
Yeah.
It's really creepy.
I know. I feel like Taya almost, it's not like Sean is her dad. It's not like she's looking for a dad because she has a dad. But I don't know why she's so attached to Sean.
I don't know. Maybe he was like her first real love and he's older and I don't know, just feels comfortable to her. I don't know.
Sean is the worst. I really hate him.
Yeah, he's very negative. Have you ever like really seen him happy?
No, he never jokes. He never smiles. Nothing ever makes him happy. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing makes him happy.
He complains a lot.
And, he's constantly trying to kiss Taya. And every time you see him kiss Taya, Tyler dives in too. And then poor Alicia's watching all of this and it's just miserable.
Oh, gosh.
It's truly miserable.
Were there any scenes from next episode? I can't remember.
Yes, there were. Okay, things are getting good. So next episode.
Oh, so Alysia announces how she wants to try to reconnect with her dad. And the rest of them are like, that's not a good idea because he really did not take this well the first time.
Well, and also Sean and Taya don't like it because he didn't approve of Sean and Taya. I think he had the issue with the two of them.
Right.
And so what I've seen a lot of on Reddit is that's what people have said about Sean and Taya is that they're freeloaders, that they really kind of just glommed onto this situation because I don't know what the childcare situation was, but Tyler and Alysia, before they came along, they had two kids that were in probably grade school and maybe they were paying for some after school care. And now they've got all these little kids. And so of course you do need full-time help and people staying. It's just, they kind of got themselves trapped in this situation. It's just,
it
goes on and on.
They are trapped because now they have a child who we don't know the paternity of. And they're attached to, all the newborn children.
I'm trying to think. There was something else. I just didn't write it down and I cannot remember. But a lot of it was, I think, about Alysia and her just not being happy.
No, she's not happy.
Yeah, something like that. All right.
Wow.
Ooh, what an episode. Oy.
This show is just every week. It's like, the cracks in the foundation just keep getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing's ever what people claim it to be. And if they claim it to be something, it never is. That's the thing. It's like the whole thing about having your cake and eat it too. It's like, Tyler, you could have had your cake and eat it too. You could have. Or you could have met someone else that you liked as much as Taya. That's another thing that drives me crazy is people get so fixated on someone. It's like, it has to be this person. It's like, well, it doesn't have to be. It really doesn't. Like, Tyler, you could have met someone else and had a different path and done this differently. It's just, again, part of being in a marriage, in a long-term marriage, is that you are sacrificing. You are making conscious choices to not be with other people and be with this person.
Yeah.
And of course, it's going to start to erode the trust between the two of you because if Tyler can run off with Taya, who else can he run off with?
Yeah. And the fact that he wants to escape his marriage.
A lot.
Because look, you have experience and a lot of people have experience with this. Marriage is all, exciting and happy. And then when you get into the years of raising children, it is really, really, really hard.
It's very hard. Those toddler years and those toddler and early elementary years, those are usually where people get divorced.
Yeah.
Where things start to fall apart.
Yeah, I know. Because, I remember when Layla started kindergarten, that year, a lot of people got divorced, from her class.
Yeah.
And then every year thereafter, there was kind of a slow,
trickling
trickling every year. And but yeah, I think there's something about kindergarten. It's like, okay, we got through like that really early phase. Now they're in school. I can leave now.
Yeah. Yeah. And usually they've been together 2 years and maybe they had a couple years. So it's been a good 10 years of this one person, Yeah. And it does. And and I do think that when you hit those walls, you either have a conscious choice. You either dig in and decide, okay, I want to be with this person and make it work, or you leave. And I really think these people are they're trying to make something happen that really can't happen. And it's not working for them, but they keep telling us it's working for them. And this is the part that's very irritating.
Well, and that's the thing. They think, like you said, it's having your cake and eating it too. And they think that this is going to solve the problem. So think about it. When Tyler and Alysia, met Sean and Taya, what have they been together? 4 years?
4 years.
Okay. So their kids are like 8 and 9. So their kids were still pretty young. They're exhausted.
They both have full-time jobs.
Their kids are starting to get into, they're still very young, 4 or 5, whatever that is. And they're just exhausted. They're looking for something exciting. And
they're like, oh, let's go to this swinger club. Let's put the pineapple out in front of our house. And let's go to this swinger club. And then maybe they went to the singer and it was like, oh, that was exciting. That was fun. Okay, let's go again.
Yeah. But that's the thing. If you're going to do that, it should be your side thing. It should be your thing that you do every once in a while and it's fun and you get to, release some steam, whatever. You don't move these people into your house and start having babies.
Yeah, you don't move a predator into your home.
Or anybody. Yeah, predator or not. It's like, why would you do this? Why would you complicate your life? If you agree to, you're both consensually saying, okay, we're going to do these things with each other's knowledge and permission or whatever, then just do that.
Yeah. And don't bother anybody else with it.
No.
But we really do enjoy this show. So keep going.
Well, they're not going to stop. I mean,
no.
This show, we were saying we've had more people commenting about this show.
Oh, I know. Everybody hates
social
Sean.
Media.
This show really fires people up.
Yes.
Everybody hates Sean. That's that's across the board. There's I've yet to meet a Sean fan.
God, nobody
There's
likes
no
him.
Sean stans.
No.
And everyone agrees this is really, it feels like it's really about sex. It's not about love. It's not about like, oh, we're one big family and more to love. It feels like it's really driven by desires of what people want. And then everybody else is fitting into it. So, I mean, everybody's got their number. Everyone sees this dynamic. Nobody's not seeing it.
Yeah.
So listen, maybe that'll be enough for Alysia. I really want Alysia to just get out of this because I just think she's not happy.
But then she might lose Tyler. And that's all she knows is Tyler. So
Alysia, there's someone else out there besides Tyler or Sean.
But they also, too, it's like we don't want to break up their family. We don't want to break. I mean, I'm with Raina. And what's the other kid's name? I don't even know the other kid's name.
I don't know.
The other older child. I don't even know.
Why does that name sound? Well, one of the little ones is Carver and Barrett.
Carver and Barrett. And
so the
Raina
older one,
and somebody. I can't remember his name. But anyway, well, we'll keep watching.
Yeah. We'll be back next week to talk about it.
And next season, there's season 2.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining us. If you enjoy our podcast, you can check out our Patreon. You can get all these episodes ad-free. We do a weekly bonus and where you learn more about us and our lives and what we're up to. And we talk about what's happening in pop culture. We also, for our $8 tier, we do an Ask Us Anything. You can ask us legal questions or mental health questions. And we do a special true crime that does not go out to the public feed. So go check us out there. You can always give us a 5-star rating and review. Those always do help us. Check us out on Psych Legal Pop on social media. And tell a friend about the podcast. Share the word. Spread the word. We really do appreciate it.
We also do Sister Wives. We cover Sister Wives.
Yes.
Which we're doing the current season, and we have a backlog of many seasons. If you're a Sister Wives fan, because this is sort of Sister Wives adjacent.
And if you enjoy documentaries, every Thursday we're doing lots of documentaries. We just talked about the downfall of Diddy. We just talked about his defense, like what his defense is going to come out and say, and does he have a shot of actually maybe fighting off some of these accusations? Who knows? But yeah, we cover lots of the Netflix documentaries, all of that kind of stuff. So go check us out there. And I think that's it.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.